It's open.
Knock. Oh, yeah, he just. I see
Hey,
something.
how you doing? The one day my kids aren't here. My kids are at their grandma's
Oh, yeah?
on their winter break.
Nice. We're still.
Oh shoot! Hit the lights. Hit the lights. Young lady, right behind you. There's a light switch, pal.
Turn one. Okay.
Thank you very much.
I know you've all met her, but this is Kaylee, by the way.
Hi again. Now the bigger one is yours, Ken, and the smaller one's yours. But I don't know.
That makes
sense. The reality of it was I wasn't really happy with what was out there this year, so whatever fell into my lap kind of fell in my lap. I have like these epic game plans I go to find these things, and it did not pan out. I don't know if it was like the rain weather or something, but
I will be
wasn't
bringing
as many vendors.
gifts for you guys next week.
Huh?
So I'll be bringing gifts for you guys next week. Haven't had an opportunity to do that.
Good. That means I'm setting the bar.
Yes. Yeah, you are. It's always a good thing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. When you're dealing with good people, it's always a good thing. Yeah. So.
Let's start recording. We
Yeah.
are live on YouTube. We just need to put the broadcast thingy up,
Yeah.
but let's see here. I do need to start the recording for Spotify. Where are you at? There
Big
you
day
are.
today. Big day today.
Yeah. Is this the birthday
will.
girl, by the way?
No,
Okay.
we're going birthday girl shopping right after this.
Gotcha.
And then we're going to the roller skate. We're going roller skating, and then we're having a family over for dinner. And so I am on a time crunch today.
Got it.
did that
And it's a
last week.
weird
Yeah.
week. It's a weird week to be on a time crunch too. New background. It's against the clock, right? Can against the clock.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Nice.
I learned a couple new tricks this over the week, and I was like, hey, I
Very
could do
nice.
this for the podcast. And
cool.
so that's just the first
I'll get some coffee.
layout of it. All right, so I'm going to go with what Brian got me here. Let's take a look.
Are we already going?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we are rolling.
We don't waste time around here.
We got Brian on a time crunch today, so we're going to get this.
Turbo show today.
Well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Oh, this is just a box, right?
Yeah.
Because I was like,
Everything's wrapped in Amazon boxes, right?
That's how it should be.
That's just the way it is.
Amazon's the official sponsor of Christmas now.
oh, is this an 8-bit shirt?
Nice.
I love it, dude.
Yeah, went a little classic nerdy, you know.
8-bit, like that's just like so.
Oh, that's awesome,
Yeah.
dude.
All right.
Thank you.
Thought you guys might enjoy that.
That's a super cool find. Yes, I do.
That is
Actually,
cool, dude.
There's a series on Netflix right now about the Madden football game.
Oh, wow.
It's a 3-part series, and so yeah, this is super cool. It's like, it's
I
right
love
in.
it.
Yeah, definitely worth a watch. By the way,
It's on Netflix.
yeah.
So I wanted you.
Dude, that is really
That's
nice.
that's badass.
I wanted
dude.
you swimming in it. So it's a little larger than I think you actually are.
Dude, that's
'Cause
awesome.
I like swimming in my sweaters.
Yeah, no, I get it. That's awesome, man. Thank you. You went all out. Shoot. Dude, and a charger? Dude, badass, man. Thank you.
Look at Ray setting the bar high.
No, I know. And usually Ray sends his kids to the swap meet to get us cool, you know.
That's what I'm
stuff,
talking about.
you know?
Like all the vendors
And
were
this
shut
year-
down.
This
All the
year you
vendors,
can all go out, man.
all the vendors were shut down.
Dude.
Dude, this is awesome.
Damn, Ray. Well, thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you, Ray.
very
This is
cool.
No
wow.
problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was the same game plan. I was gonna go to the swap meet. I did go to the swap meet, and like no vendors were out there. None. I don't know if it was weather or what, but it was just no vendors, none. So I was just like, oh my god.
This is actually perfect because I have like 3 or 4 cowboy sweaters and a bunch of jerseys and hats and stuff like that. I do not have a blanket.
Yeah, and I don't
nice.
remember ever getting you one.
I
So.
did not have a blanket anymore. So this is great because there's 49ers blankets everywhere in my house, but there's never any Cowboys blankets. So I've I feel like a traitor all the time because I put a blanket on. It's a 49ers.
49 win. I know. I would feel awkward too.
Every time I do it, dude. Every time I do it, I think about it. That was a perfect gift. Perfect. So, let's talk about yesterday. Yeah, a quick little recap. There were 2 games yesterday that already happened.
Oh, was there football yesterday?
Did it fit pretty good?
Well, I mean, it depends on who your team is, I guess.
Yeah.
All right.
So, real quick.
Oh, it ended up being perfect size, huh?
Yeah, that's a really nice sweater, dude. Yeah, that's really awesome.
And that one fell in my lap. I was like looking around, and I was like the only one in the store. I was like, "What the?"
So
Score.
the way that the Steelers-Ravens game went down yesterday, that's kind of how I expected the first game to go down, and things just kind of got out of there, got out of control. The Steelers were at home, got some momentum going, and were able to ride that one home. But yesterday was really kind of a get-right game for Lamar Jackson against the Steelers because he has really, really, really struggled against the Steelers.
For sure.
And still, like, fantasy-wise, if you look at his numbers, that was still this is how good he's been. That was his, like, 3rd lowest performance of the season, and 2 of them are against the Steelers.
Yeah. No, we definitely know how to play Lamar, and we played that game very tight up into the late 3rd quarter. Things started to get away from us there. I don't know if you noticed, but the balls that were not bouncing our way, like we caused 2-3 fumbles in the first quarter and couldn't get any of them. So that was unlucky. And then, of course, our fumble they get. And it's just so I felt like we were really unlucky. And George Pickens not being there really showed. TJ Watt just didn't have the game he normally has. And I have to attribute that a little bit
He's not
to
had a great second half of the season so far.
He's not turned it up like he was in the first half, that's for sure. But, yeah, like I say, long season. He's a little banged up right now. Highsmith looked great on the other side, though. I tell you what, he was tearing it up. Yeah, I'm not super worried about my team right now. I mean, it sucks that we lost twice since the last time we got together. So definitely feeling a little football dead in the heart here.
I called both of those, I think.
Oh, and sorry, just all the bad beats I took last week in fantasy. I was in one league still. I was in the playoffs.
You were?
And I lost not by 0.2, by 0.02 points.
That happened to me. That
Scored 151 and still couldn't win by 0.02. So yeah, I'm a little dead inside.
Yeah, I think mine was 157 and change or something like that, and I lost by 0.02 after a stat correction.
Yeah, yeah.
It was pretty
in
bad.
the playoffs. Or?
No.
That was earlier.
No, that's just part. That sucks to happen. That's horrible to happen in the playoffs. And I've actually seen. I've seen that happen in my half PPR league, where I'm playing in the semifinals this weekend, and our first season, a wild card round was decided by a stat correction, where it was determined that a guy fumbled a ball.
More than everybody.
And we don't anymore because of this, but we used to have minus points for just a fumble. Like whether you lost the ball, control the ball or not, fumble.
Yeah.
So he lost. So they it wasn't credited at first, and then he got credited for the fumble and lost a point and lost his match by half a point. Yeah, it's brutal.
The bad beat stories are out there.
Bad
that's
beat
for
story.
Sure.
It's that time of year.
Sucks when it happens to you.
Right. So I feel like I kind of escaped yesterday. Like Derrick Henry didn't score again, but he was awesome still. Like it was his best performance in 6 weeks. Just right on time for me.
He looked good.
Like I said, Lamar Jackson had his 3rd lowest performance of the season. I'm playing against Lamar Jackson. On the other side, I could have done without that last 45-yard Zay Flowers catch.
Yeah, me too.
But it feels like you get through like a couple of games of football in your playoff match, and none of you guys goose you, and none of you guys really crush you as far as point outage. You're like, okay, this is a good start. Your opponent's quarterback plays and doesn't have a 45-point game. All right, okay, we're in it. We're in this. This is like we got a shot. And in the playoffs, it's really all you can hope for because like we've talked about many times, like it's the skill part is making the playoffs, and then after that, you just kind of
Yep. Please.
Yeah, you're just begging to whatever God you believe in. Yeah. All right, so how'd we do last week, Ray?
Okay, yeah. So moving into the games, can you beat us all out with 14 wins for 14 correct call-outs?
Wow.
I came in second with 13. Bezzy had 13, and then Brian, you had 11.
Yeah,
you had a couple
right.
bad calls on those games.
The only one that I would have that I feel like when I started watching the game and immediately regretted the pick was the Chargers to beat Tampa Bay. Just considering everything that they had, the Chargers had gone through, like they were struggling on offense. McConkey was hurt, and the Buccaneers were just playing red hot with, and Mike Evans is on a mission to get to 1,000 yards. So that felt like a bad call, but yeah, it was it finally felt good.
Yeah, I was thinking about the Thursday game. I was like, wait, no, they won. Oh,
yeah,
all right.
That was a great game.
Yeah,
and
that was
just
fun.
to talk about that real quick. So I was, it helped me in one match. And then it hurt me in the Top Gun match, the free kick.
Oh yeah, the crazy free kick.
What's it called? It's called a fair catch free kick.
Yes.
Okay, so I wanted to say that I'm not sure if the leagues should be scoring that as a field goal. And the reason I say that is because it's not the same.
It's not.
It's not at all the same. They don't have to move the ball back from the line of scrimmage. And there's no defense to block it.
Right.
It's and especially not getting the bonus for however many yards it happens to be.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that scoring wise. Yeah. But they did.
You
score
got 5.
Yeah,
because that was you had Dicker the kicker.
I didn't even realize.
Yeah,
like I say, little football dead. I'm not,
sorry, buddy.
I'm not looking at my toilet bowl matches and going, "Ooh, what's going on?"
I do. I really.
I do not.
I enjoy it. It's really. I think it's a lot of fun. So Ray, in our,
I open it and see I'm not in the playoffs, and I'm just
the Dynasty
irritated.
League. You got to play for next year, dude, and the year after that. Dynasty. So the Dynasty League that we're in together. We both just missed the playoffs. I think we were the 7 and 8 seeds is what it ended up.
I just missed the playoffs.
I missed out on tiebreaker
because Wada Busy decided to start Charbonnet.
Oh yeah, that got a lot of people. And
the thing is, I would have won that matchup this week in points. Like based off the points, I would have won that. I would have been moving on in the next one in the playoffs.
It's the first 2 years we played this league, I was the highest scoring team during the playoffs. And got knocked out in round 1 of season 2, and then didn't make the playoffs in season 1, and just had like season 1 was a lot like this season was for me, where it's just like nothing could go right all the time. And it's funny too because season 1 I played a lot worse, and there was a lot of my decisions that were just bad.
Right.
And this season was just like everything happened in game. It like the bad stuff just like you make it start and then the guy goes out to concussion early in the game or anyway, let's not get too far into that. So in our Dynasty League that we play in together, if you don't make the playoffs, you go into the toilet bowl, and in the toilet bowl you're allowed to tank so people who are not in the playoffs obviously have some roster turnover to do. So what happens a lot is you get guys traded off for draft picks, the veteran guys, and then you get guys who people give up on, like the 26, 27-year-old guys are in like their 4th year, still haven't done anything yet, and you're just tired of waiting, and you drop them and pick up guys that aren't going to score any points. Like they play in the game, they appear in the games and stuff like that, but they're not going to do anything. Right. It would be a miracle if somehow that guy ended up
projected for 0.02
yeah,
points.
Exactly. Yeah, and they play like 5% of the snaps and stuff like that. Like I started Daria Gumbawale yesterday against Brian in this toilet bowl. And so it's fun to see like who gets screwed by some random person scoring a touchdown. Like I lost in round 1 because I lost by winning in round 1 because I failed to pull off a trade for Jerome Ford. And then Nick Chubb gets hurt, and Jerome, who's on my bench, so I should have started Nick Chubb, and Jerome Ford goes off for like 19 PPR fantasy points, and I won my match by the difference between, I won my match, which is losing in this scenario, by the difference between Chubb and Ford that day. So it's funny how this stuff comes up, and that's why I like to watch it, because there's lots of funny stuff that happens, and then you look later, we fast forward like 5 months from now, and we're drafting, and someone is picking like 3 spots in front of where they should have been picking just because some stupid idiot went off in week 16 or 17.
Yeah.
That stuff is funny to me. And,
Yeah, like Joshua Palmer doesn't do anything all year, but the last 2 weeks.
and it's so
He's
funny.
amazing.
So like Brian, you pull up your team from last week in the Iron Throne.
Yeah.
It is hilarious. Like he was trying to lose, and his team goes off.
It was really stupid.
It was really you got to bring up the guys that scored points for you last week. Because I think he had multiple guys who
Cooper
never do
Rush
anything
went off
score
for
2
25.
touchdowns.
Cooper Rush went off for 25 points. Tajay Spears went off for 27.
2 touchdowns from Tajay Spears, never gets to play.
Rashad Bateman went off for 23.
2 touchdowns out of Rashad Bateman, never does anything.
Parker Washington, who never does anything, got almost 9 points.
This is great.
Mario Douglas got 10 points. I was just like, are you kidding?
Yeah, it's so funny. Yeah, it's so funny.
But that's how my year is gone. I'm just
Yeah.
like, okay, that fits.
And so, and the same thing happened to me. And so now him and I are playing each other in that league.
Yeah.
And we're in the midst of a tank off.
Yeah, I'm gonna win this one, by the way.
Yes. I'm definitely going to the toilet bowl in the Iron Throne.
Yeah.
Or not. No. I'm sorry, not the toilet bowl, but we're gonna be picking back to back, and it'll be me first.
Yes, you will get to pick first.
And that's fun. That to me, that's fun. Like figuring that
Yeah.
stuff out now. Like the fact that he knows that he's going to be drafting right behind me in the draft. So like, there's going to be 5 people in front of us, and if any of them makes a mistake, and somehow like a stud like top 3-ish player gets to us, Brian knows he won't get him. And with that, let's talk about football.
Yeah.
What's today's football?
Do you guys want to do like, because I've got to take off at 9. Do you want
I
to
think
do?
we should just get straight to the games.
Should we just do abbreviated versions of the game, or do you guys want to?
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay.
I don't mind that. So first up, we got the Lions and the Bears. Lions -7, 47.5 is over under. -340 is the money line.
Yeah, the Lions are just kind of falling apart.
Yeah, they're completely beat up. I think they have 10 defensive starters out,
And they lost Montgomery for the season.
and Montgomery's out for the season.
So now, like Jahmyr Gibbs managers are just like, yay! It's
and
like-
Detroit's going to have to score points because their defense is so beat up. So
yeah,
I still take Detroit today. I think they can outclass
Fantasy-
Chicago still, but should be a high scoring game. I think.
I think so too. Like my dilemma in my half PPR league is: do I start Stafford or do I start Caleb Williams? And I've had Caleb Williams in my starting slot all week long. I made the change last night to go to Stafford.
Who are the Rams playing?
They're playing the Jets, and so the Jets just came out of a shootout against Mac Jones and the
Yeah.
Jaguars. So I kind of feel like that could happen again. That's the in my tournament lineup for DFS. That's the lineup, but we'll get to that later. I like the Lions in this game. I want to pick the Bears because they're due to win. They've lost I think 10 in a row now.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet money on this game because I'd be a little worried because
Yeah.
anything can happen with all the injuries. But
Agreed.
But yeah, still take Detroit.
But yeah, I still expect Detroit to be able to control this game on the ground. It's just going to be a lot of Jahmyr Gibbs instead.
Yep.
So it sounds like we're all going Detroit.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's your. I'm not going to call you smart. You're just a wild man if you pick the Bears in this game, and they win. Like, it'd be cool if they did. But
Next up is Eagles versus the Commanders. The Eagles are -4. Over-unders 47, -205 if you're betting on the Eagles. +170 if you're betting on the Commanders.
I will not be betting on those Commanders.
Yeah, I want the Commanders to win, but I can't bet on them.
Saquon Barkley is my guy. We got to ride Saquon Barkley to a championship. That's there is a AJ Brown knee injury that popped up at the end of the week. So he missed practice, but I think he's still expected to play.
Okay, I haven't even seen that.
So Devonta Smith went off last week, and I expect that to continue. Like if you have Devonta Smith available to you and you're in the playoffs, like great times. Because they won't be getting Dallas Goedert back.
Yeah,
so,
he's done, right?
Yeah, so that's something that just people need to be mindful of. When one of those 3 guys is gone, the other 2 just go through the roof.
That's true.
So yeah, on the other side, you're still going to start your Commanders. Just not excited about it.
Yeah, and honestly, I do expect a good game here, but the Eagles are just kind of.
I kind of don't.
right now.
I kind of don't. Yeah.
You think the Eagles just roll on them?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do. So
I can definitely see that. But
my favorite.
I feel like
so
Washington's taking a
my
lot of
favorite
strides.
stat of the week, what came from the Pittsburgh Philly game last week, the Eagles controlled the ball for the last 11 minutes of that game.
Yeah.
The Steelers were desperately trying to get back into the game. They weren't completely out of the game when that started.
That fumble.
And then
Jesus.
the Eagles just didn't let them have the ball back. The Steelers are a much better team than the Commanders to me.
No, and the Commander
Especially on defense. So I just don't think the way that the Eagles defense is playing, I just don't think that the Commanders are going to be able to keep them from scoring early in the game. They're gonna get into bad. That's where Washington gets into trouble. If you make them have to pass, they're not good at it. Like if they're able to run the football and the other things are working for them, their quick screen game and their little dump offs and stuff like that, then they can sneak McLaurin down the field. But look at what McLaurin did against the Eagles in the first matchup, and I kind of expect more of the same.
I can see that.
Next up, Browns and Bengals. Browns are plus 9.5. Over under is 46.5. Plus 380 if you're betting on the Browns. Minus 500 if you are betting on the Bengals. And Bezzy is going Browns.
Wow. That's brave because the Browns are essentially
DTR.
the AFC version of the Saints right now, where it's like this is a team that was kind of borderline coming into the season. You thought they might contend for a wild card, and now they're just
Tanking. They're tanking.
Well, not even but they're kind of forced into it by injury. Like they're missing their they're missing
For sure, but
they're missing their quarterback. They benched their backup quarterback. The Saints have done the same thing.
Yep.
They're missing their stud running back. They're missing their best, in my opinion, their best receiver. Like Jerry Jeudy is doing well now, but before Cedric Tillman went out with a concussion, Tillman was the number one target and was crushing it. And in my opinion, is the future in Cleveland. I love Cedric Tillman.
I'm just saying, taking Winston out and putting in DTR is a tank move to me because you know how bad that guy is. Like this is not an upgrade. Like you're doing this.
I don't think.
lose.
See, so coming out of college, watching his tape, DTR was one of the guys that I liked. He reminded me of Dak a lot, and I think he's one of those players who we don't actually know what his ceiling is. So I don't agree with that assessment, and and this is why I compare them to the Saints because I feel like the Saints also have a quarterback that they drafted in round 4 in Spencer Rattler, who people have no confidence in right now. And so far, what we've seen them do, it hasn't been great. But these guys were successful in college, and not just successful because they were successful because they were good in college. They didn't have great weapons that got drafted around them. They were good in college. And both of these guys are 25 or under. So at quarterback, they're definitely not done. There's definitely, time for them to grow and get better. So it's one of the things that I was worried about this week because I'm going to play the Bengals as my defense in that half PPR league. And I know DTR can do it. I know he can do things. It's just that he doesn't have Tillman. He doesn't have Nick Chubb. Their offensive line is on tackles 5 and 6. Right. So I there's no way I'm picking them to beat the Bengals today. But I don't think that either the Saints or the Browns are tanking teams as much as they're just depleted teams and also teams that weren't exactly loaded to begin with. That's the way I see it.
No, I hear you, but I don't know. The DTR move does. I don't know.
Winston turned the ball over 7 times in the last 2 weeks. You can't.
And that's what he does. But DTR is not going to be better.
To me,
they have zero chance to win with him in the game.
I agree. I don't necessarily agree with that.
And like I say, I don't know what he did in college, but I've seen what he's done in the pros. Like he's been in there. He's had some starts, and he has not looked good.
I agree. I agree with that.
But definitely taking Cincy.
Yes.
Okay, next up is Rams versus the Jets. Rams -3. I think that's a little harsh. Over-under is 47. -162 if you're betting on the Rams. Plus 136 if you're betting on the Jets.
Harsh as in you think the Rams should be favored by more?
Yeah, I think they should be favored.
Well, they're on the road. It's the Jets looked good last week on offense.
No.
They didn't.
Going cross country.
On offense, they did.
I don't think they did. I think they got it together at the end. I watched that whole game because I thought the whole thing was funny. Like to me, I was just
That's
like,
true. He was texting about that game, to be fair, I caught like the last like 5 minutes of the game, like where I actually watched play by play. I was paying attention to it because you were like talking about it, so I was watching the score go back and forth, and also like I had stacked Rodgers and Adams in DFS. So,
and I think all those points came at the end. I mean,
a lot of them did. A lot.
It was just so funny for me to watch because like I was so downtrodden for picking them as my lone wolf last week, and it was like I'm watching the game going, yeah, this is the Jets being the Jets and the Rodgers being Rodgers. It wasn't until the end that they were losing the entire game till the end.
Yeah,
you talking about the Jets?
Yeah,
I picked the Jets last week.
No, you didn't.
I did.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm saying. I lone wolf the Jags.
Oh, the Jags. Okay.
I lone wolf the Jags, so I got a little shit for it. But I was watching it going, this is going exactly how I thought it would go. And then they just kind of pulled it together at the end. And I was like, they haven't been doing that. They haven't been pulling it together at the end.
I agree with that. They've been close. They've been within striking distance in most of the games that they've lost. And they just have. It's like, okay, come on, Aaron Rodgers, do the Aaron Rodgers thing you do.
Yeah, exactly.
And he hasn't been able to do it this year. And I kind of talked about that before the game started last week. I was like, Aaron Rodgers isn't the same as Tom Brady because of the way that he was successful, and he was just like that much better than people, and he hasn't been doing those things. But the back shoulder fades just kind of all of a sudden started working again, yesterday or last week against the Jags. But the Jags have a terrible pass defense. The Rams' pass defense hasn't been great either. They got helped out a lot by the rain. So that's why this is the game to me that I think is going to be the back and forth. Like the game you want if you're playing a DFS lineup in a tournament. This is where I want to be.
This is where you want to be, huh? Yeah. I can see it. I can definitely see the path to that.
And I am going to pick the Rams on the road.
Yeah, hard not to pick the Rams. The Rams are red hot right now, and just looking good. I mean, they beat Buffalo. I mean, they
beat San Francisco. They swept the 49ers this year. That's the first time they've done that in the McVay era.
Yeah.
And they're fairly healthy as far as I can tell, right?
They've been getting healthier.
Yeah,
I don't think they have anybody on their injury list.
Kind of coming out of all the injuries. So they're healthy and looking good. So good time to be around.
On the other side,
especially after the 1-4 start, man. You were so sad after the 1-4 start.
Yeah, I was like, what is going on here?
You're all looking at the stats like, oh, we've only got like a 4% chance of making the playoffs.
Yeah, I
and
did.
shit
I was
like
doing
that.
shit. Yeah.
On the other side, the Jets running backs are banged up other than Breece Hall. So it's a good opportunity to play Breece Hall. I'll be doing that in DFS. And then I think you just got to ride Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams right now.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a thing. Devontae Adams is going to be getting a lot of targets the rest of the year. They have nothing else to play for.
It kind of feels like they're just like piling up.
He wants to prove that he deserves those commercials. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing worse than you're on every commercial you're in. You know what I mean? So you're seeing like every break, you're seeing this person. Remember with Baker Mayfield, and he had that horrible year, and you see him on
commercials all year long.
All the progressive commercials all year long when he's sucking, and you're just like, progressive has got to be so mad right now, you know. So now Taco Bell's like, no, you guys need to throw it to Devontae Adams. You know what I mean?
That's funny. To me, Devontae has still been great this year. So like, if somehow the Jets don't keep him, like they decide to move on from him and Rodgers this offseason, Devontae Adams is going to go somewhere and be great next year.
Yeah, he'll have a home.
Like he's somebody who I will like. If the Jets happen to let go of him, I will immediately be trying to get him in Dynasty.
Braylon Allen is healthy, by the way.
Okay,
so just throwing that out there for the DFS. Just maybe a slight knock on Breece Hall, but he's still going to be a good play this week.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is a high-scoring game. All right, so ready to move on?
Let's do it.
Jets and the Atlanta Falcons. So let's see. I'm sorry, Giants and the Atlanta Falcons. Giants plus 9.5. Over/under is 42.5. Plus 390 if you're betting on the Giants. Minus 520 if you're betting on the Falcons.
The Penix is coming out.
It's happening. I'm excited to see this.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, the world is. It's like, okay, well, let's see. Maybe the Atlanta wasn't stupid by
maybe round quarterback. And it's funny. I love doing this for this podcast for situations like this because everybody killed Atlanta for making that draft choice. Not this guy.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I gave you a lot of shit for that. So Let's see if you were right.
So, well, we won't. I don't think we're gonna know just yet.
For sure.
But I mean,
We'll have an idea though.
What
in the first game,
But what
we'll
if
see flashes.
But what would we be saying right now if the Falcons were exactly where they are and didn't have Michael Penix on the roster? Like, what would we be saying about their future? Like, honestly, because they have Michael Penix Jr., a top 10 drafted quarterback, like, you're still like looking at what's going on in Atlanta with a positive mindset.
No, they look like the genius now for that draft pick, but they still look stupid for getting Kirk Cousins and paying all the money for him. Now,
still do.
So what they do? Just bench Cousins?
Yeah,
and so that I disagree with too, and the reason I'm going to go back. I said this before too, was that when you look at it from a financial aspect, they got a discount on Kirk Cousins compared to like someone like Trevor Lawrence. Would you rather pay Kirk Cousins $40 million or Trevor Lawrence 55?
Is that really what he's getting?
Yes.
Wow.
That's what, and wow, because that's what the you know, like you're saying that I'm worth a contract. Quarterbacks are getting now when they like when Sam Darnold signs his new contract, he's going to sign a fucking $45-50 million a year contract. He's going to be slightly discounted from those guys who haven't changed teams yet, but slightly.
Yeah, it's
going to be a lot of money. So they have Kirk Cousins at the, you know, like you remove the like the bonus or whatever they were allowed to pay him that doesn't get taxed on the cap, and they're probably getting a cap hit of something like $33 to $35 million or something like that. And then Michael Penix for the next 4 years, like this year and the next 4, isn't going to hit you for more than 10.
Yeah.
So you're still getting a discount on what it costs to have an elite starting quarterback. It's just instead of having that guy who's just like, you know, bona fide, like an all-pro contender, someone who's making Pro Bowls, all that junk, and you have a Coles quarterback in Kirk Cousins, and you have your guy of the future. So you're going to spend that money regardless on quarterback.
Yeah.
That's my position on it.
And Atlanta's, I mean, still right there in the playoff hunt, which is kind of the funny thing. So
they are.
Yeah, it's definitely just interesting times here, and I'm going to pick them today. I think they.
Oh yeah, they're gonna. I think this you could, and that's the other part is like, could you ask for a better landing spot to drop your rookie quarterback into?
Yes,
like, and it's like, and here's the last thing on this is like, people who are like questioning the move, they've been watching this guy in practice all year. You know?
Oh, Penix?
Yeah. And it's not like they just all of a sudden are like, that's it. This isn't a knee-jerk reaction. Like they're just pulling Kirk because they're mad. This isn't somebody who like rage trades or rage drops somebody in fantasy football. They had this question probably months ago.
At least
like,
weeks ago.
Are we making the right decision by keeping Kirk Cousins? Or at some point, somebody asked this question before Kirk Cousins was struggling. That's my opinion. And because Kirk Cousins is such a pro that unless Michael Penix was demonstrating in practice that he's that guy and deserves to play, they wouldn't do this.
No, I agree with that too. He must be looking good. So
to drop him in
on the field
against a floundering team that's probably going to struggle
that
on offense. He's probably
tanking,
he's going to be in positive situations. I'm excited for his start today, and I will be playing him in DFS today.
Me too.
Penix? Yeah, he's on my lineup.
Yeah, I mean he's the
$4,500.
$4,500.
Yeah.
And
you can actually spend $100 less and play Tim Boyle on the other side.
Oh, okay.
You can do that.
I'm going to stick with Penix on that
I am
one.
going to do the same.
But and there's not a lot of places to drop down this week, so you had to like save money somewhere.
Yes.
So might as well.
Next up is Cardinals and Panthers. Cardinals are minus 5.5. Over under is 47. Minus 245 if you're betting on the Cardinals. Plus 200 if you're betting on the Panthers.
Who had James Conner for just being like the man? It comes week 16. Like at the beginning of the season, who had James Conner as like, if you've got James Conner today, you feel indestructible.
This man gets stronger with age.
What is
I've
going
never seen
on?
a running back like the more he advances in his career, the better he gets.
He looks faster and stronger.
Like we got rid of him years ago because he couldn't stay on the field.
He was Najee.
He was okay as a runner.
It was the same. It was
he
exactly
was
the
like,
same
we got rid
situation
of
you're
him
in
for
with
all these
Najee right
reasons,
now.
and then he just year after year after year he gets better and better and better.
So what you're saying is you guys need to hold on to Najee.
I guess so.
Just let him age. Just let him age a little bit.
Like a
Let these.
fine
That's
wine.
we gotta let these running backs age a little bit. You know.
New strategy.
Wait until they change teams, then invest in them.
Right.
That's, which is like we're joking because that's just been the complete opposite of what you would want to do
Usually.
Yeah, and whether you're talking about redraft or dynasty, like you go into a redraft season and you're looking at this running back who's like in his third season with the same team and he's gotten like the bulk of the carries versus this guy that is like 27 and just changed teams and his team didn't trade him, they just kind of let him walk. That's a tough decision most of the time. And you will side with betting on the guy who you think might have his best year ever versus the guy who you think has already had his best year ever. So it's very, very, very strange. But
Yeah, it is, and I think they'll rely on Connor a lot today. I
Oh,
think
they're
he's going to
gonna,
have a great day. He's in my DFS pool in my
Has to be.
lineup, and I think the Cardinals win this one.
I think not starting James Conner in DFS today is just a mistake. Because you're going to be playing against him.
Yeah,
And yeah, I think the Cardinals will roll today.
there you go.
Okay, next up is Tennessee Titans with the Indianapolis Colts. +4 for the Titans. Over-under is 42.5. +170 if you're betting on the Titans. And -205 if you're betting on the Colts.
What's the line? I'm sorry.
+4.
Plus for.
Titans.
So the Colts are favored by 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is my upside of the day. I'm taking the Titans. On the road.
Really?
Yeah. I think they're like right now.
Who's their quarterback this week?
It's going to be Rudolph on
it's Mason
Christmas.
Rudolph, that's right. I forgot about that part.
Rudolph he does it on Christmas. Remember, because like somebody started him. Was it you that started him in the tank off last year and got screwed by him scoring a bunch of points? Somebody did.
So, I don't remember.
Somebody
that, so it
did.
wasn't
Somebody
me.
started Mason. Yeah, somebody started Mason Rudolph and got screwed by him like scoring. I want to say it was like almost 30 points in fantasy.
Nice.
So yeah, Tony Pollard's going to play. I like the Tennessee defense. Anthony Richardson to me is still not playing good football. And apparently Jonathan Taylor doesn't like to score touchdowns.
That's the truth.
I would have never picked him as one of those guys. The drop the ball guy. You know what I'm talking about?
Was that Taylor that dropped it on?
That
the
was Jonathan Taylor.
I didn't. Well, there was 2 last week. 2 of them that did that. I didn't see that one, so I didn't know that was Taylor.
What,
but
like-
what the hell?
What are you guys doing?
Yeah,
I don't get it. You know what I miss?
Every year that happens
every
at least
time-
once, and I'm just like,
Every time I
Why?
think about that, I think of Barry Sanders and Jerry Rice. And the reason I think about those guys is because they were the best ever at their positions. You know what they did when they scored touchdowns?
they handed it to the ref, right?
To the ref.
Yeah.
They found the nearest official and handed him the football because that's what you do.
Act
So-
like you've been there before,
You act like you've been there before, and you're going to be there again.
right?
That's
Yeah.
like, this is where I belong. This is just business. Like, why is that not a thing? Why are we in such a hurry to drop the football?
I don't get it either. I do think Indy has a lot to play for here, though. I'm going to go ahead and pick them.
That's another reason I like the Titans.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it keeps them up for the game. If this was a game where they were just both teams were 4-10, it would be easier to just take the team at home.
Right.
But the Titans feel.
I'll take Indy.
Yeah, I like what they have more than I like what's going on in Indy in terms of offense. Their offense just feels like it's still a mess.
Yeah.
Like they don't know exactly what they're doing.
I'm picking them because they find a way to win, kind of thing. But yeah, as far as their offense, it's definitely needs some work. It's definitely
If they
work
do
in
it,
progress.
if they do it today, it's going to be on their defense. I don't think that Anthony Richardson is going to exploit this Tennessee defense. They've been playing well. They held Joe Burrow to like 27 points or something like that. They've been playing really well. So I think that Mason Rudolph coming in and not turning the ball over, like Will Levis has been turning the ball over, is going to be a plus for the Titans. And
I got to admit, Rudolph on Christmas, that does give me a little pause.
I expect him to win. So,
It gives you a little pause. You don't fall for the theories. All right. So that was it for the morning games. Do we want to read our cash lineups real quick?
Yeah, sounds good.
I got mine up. I'll go ahead and get started. Do a quick read on this since we're time constrained today. And I have Atlanta's Penix at quarterback, and then my running backs, Cincinnati's Brown, Detroit's Gibbs, and then in my wide receivers, I have San Francisco's Jennings, Raiders Myers, and Neighbors from Giants. And then for my tight end, I'm picked Strange on Jacksonville, and at my flex, I picked another tight end, McBride from Arizona with the Seahawks.
How much was McBride?
62, 61?
62.
Nice. And what defense?
Seahawks.
Seahawks. Okay.
I actually think they're going to lose, but,
How much were they?
2,800.
Yeah, okay.
All right. So I also have. Oh, oops! What did I just do? I also have MPJ.
Penix.
I'm calling him MPJ.
I get it, but
I'm doing that already. Right?
It's too early for everybody else. I was like,
Yeah,
who's he
not-
talking about? Oh, gotcha.
Yes. So you heard it here first. That's what we'll be calling him. All right. At 4,500, it's just too easy. And then James Conner at 7,100. Jahmyr Gibbs 7,500.
Sorry. What? Let's just go with PJ. PJ.
I don't think he's gonna like that.
I don't. I'm just saying. Go ahead.
My wide receivers, I am pairing Drake London with MPJ today. I've got Jackson Smith and Jigba at 6,000, and then the guy that I'm betting on today is Keenan Allen at 5,300. His targets have been insane. They haven't, and he's been
I
putting
was
up
deciding
points.
between DJ Moore and Keenan Allen. I went DJ Moore, so that'll be
That'll be fun. I think to me it's Keenan Allen. He's from what I've seen, DJ Moore. It doesn't seem like they know exactly how to use him right now. Like they want to get the ball in his hands, but the only way that they seem to be able to do that is through like bubble screens and pop passes. And they've been using him a lot like Debo. He's been running the football. He's been lining up in the backfield. And so I just don't love it. It feels really gadgety for a team that's just like not that threatening in other areas. So it's just not effective yet.
Right.
Like they really need like Roma Dunze to blossom into that number one guy in order for them to take advantage of the stuff they're trying to do with DJ Moore. It feels like a little bit of a waste of his talent.
Okay.
And then I also have Brenton Strange at 3,500 at tight end. My flex is going to be Aaron Jones Sr., playing at Seattle today. They just could not handle Josh Jacobs last week. They couldn't do anything. They couldn't stop him from catching the ball and running all over them. And to me, Aaron Jones is still a running back that, like, all things being equal, I'll take Aaron Jones over Josh Jacobs.
Wow.
So
Okay.
And then I'm playing that Bengals defense at 3,300.
Yeah, I wanted the Bengals defense. I just couldn't afford them. I went with Penix Jr., PJ here. Connor is, we talked about how good his matchup is. Gibbs, same thing, so I got him in there. I paid up for Devontae Adams. We talked about that earlier. I went with DJ Moore, Jackson Smith and Jigba. Strange is the automatic tight end this week.
Too good, 3,500.
Yeah, like I say, you got to save money somewhere, and it's
Yeah.
hard to do on this slate. I was really stuck here. My last two spots, I couldn't figure out a way to get in the defense that I wanted and have somebody at least
Decent at flex.
decent at flex. So I ended up going with the Colts defense against Tennessee,
That's a good one.
and then Adam Thielen seems to be a good.
Oh yeah,
keep
it's
10
really good.
points, so.
That's really good. How much was Thielen this week?
5,600, which is a little more than I want to pay for him.
If he
but,
scores, he's gonna 4x you though.
right. Yep. No, I agree. So good luck, guys. We have pretty
That was one of
similar lineups,
the calls
actually.
I felt smart about last week was sitting Thielen against that Cowboys defense.
Yeah.
That felt great.
All right, can we blow through these
do it.
afternoon games here?
Afternoon games. First up, Vikings versus Seahawks. Vikings are -2.5. Over/under is 42.5. -142 if you're betting on the Vikings. +120 if you're betting on the Seahawks. I will go Vikings.
Do we know if Chino's playing?
He is.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, I'm gonna go Vikings too.
Yeah.
To me, the Vikings are a better team than the Packers are, and the Packers just blew the doors off the Seahawks last week.
Yeah. Seahawks, they might make the playoffs, but they don't feel like a playoff team. And
Not
Minnesota
offensively.
really does.
Not offensively. They really feel like they're like lacking an identity outside of Jackson Smith and Jigba right now.
Just
Like
seems like
it's
they're
just
floundering,
weird because they've got talent. You know, they've got two great running backs, not just one. They've got Jackson Smith and Jigba isn't even supposed to be the alpha.
Yeah.
Of their wide
He's
receiver
become
core.
it.
They just got to figure out how to get DK the ball.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem to be working right now. So
they
it feels
don't
like
seem
they're
to
going to
do
have
well
to make
against good teams.
they're going to have to make a change in the offseason, I think.
Sure.
They're probably going to make an offensive coordinator change, I would imagine. Because it just feels like it's clunky. And we know that these guys that are on the team
Have talent.
They've produced together before, and Smith and Jigba is ascending, so they should be getting better. But yeah, I like the Vikings in this game.
All right, Vikings.
It's too hard to pick against them right now. They still have a shot at the one.
Yep. Yeah.
Next up, Patriots and Bills. Patriots are plus 14. Over-under is 46.5. Plus 650 if you're betting on the Patriots. Minus 1,000 if you're betting
Yeah, no
on
reason to
Bills.
talk about this
Bet on
game.
the Bills.
Yeah,
Yes.
take the Bills.
Yes, Josh Allen is the man.
All right. 49ers and Dolphins. This is at the 49ers Stadium. Minus 2. Over-under is 44. Minus 122 if you're betting on the Niners. And plus 102 if you're betting on the Dolphins. Minus 2 on the
I think
Niners.
this game's in Miami.
This is a weird. This is a tough game to pick right here.
If this is in Miami, I got to switch my pick.
It's at Miami. Yeah. It's
is.
at Miami. So the 49ers, they're on running back 5
Yeah.
now with Patrick Taylor, which is bad.
Yes.
I like Banakanda behind him better as a talent. I think it's one of those things where there's probably just been a lot for him to pick up, and he's just not ready yet. I still think he's interesting. I think he's going to see more playing time today. And if he doesn't mess up, he could be really good. He could be one of those guys that you could just like, in a tournament lineup or something like that, throw away, just put a Banakanda in there, and like he could have a day. They're not going to get Trent Williams back. They may not. He may just be done for the season. And like if they lose today, he's probably just done for the season. Excuse me. That being said, I don't think they're going to lose today. I think the 49ers are going to win this game. The Dolphins and your way of viewing what's going to happen in this game to me is like by looking at what happened in the Dolphins-Texans game last week. It's the same defense. D'Amico Ryans, before he went and ran that defense in Houston, he ran it in San Francisco. So they have all the tools that they're going to need to play well against this Dolphins offense that isn't going to have Jalen Waddle and has like a halfway in, halfway out Tyreek Hill right now, who was questionable up until last night. As far as I know, he's not confirmed to actually be playing in this game.
Really?
Yeah, and we've known about his wrist problem, but apparently he's got some personal issue going on this week.
Oh, see that I hadn't heard that.
So like I want to stay away from Tyreek Hill. I'm sitting him in my half PPR dynasty for Keenan Allen. I'm gonna play Keenan Allen today over Tyreek Hill. That is happening. And the big thing for me is like the Dolphins are missing their tackles, and Tua. I've said this forever. He's not a hard thrower of the football. He doesn't have a strong arm. He's an accurate dude, but he needs time and he needs guys to be open in order to get them the football. And so it just doesn't match well with what the 49ers like to do.
49ers are on their fourth running back.
Fifth.
There you go.
Yeah.
Even worse.
Fifth and sixth.
And that's why I'm.
But
I'm
in Shanahan
Miami.
offense, Shanahan offense says that's never mattered.
And San Francisco is flying all the way across country. That is a thing. But I will say, after listening to your arguments, I am less confident. I think you brought up a lot of good points there. But
the Dolphins have struggled to run the football. That's another big thing. It's like, so if the Dolphins are able to run the football today, they'll have a better day. But they have not been able to run the football at all. And so I just don't think their little dump offs to Jonnu Smith, who's going to be met by Dre Greenlaw and Fred Warner all day long, are going to be as effective as they've been against some of the teams that they've been playing against. And if you don't have, they may not even have Tyreek Hill.
I just said I just saw something saying he's expected to play, but
so
yeah, if it hadn't have said that, I think I would have picked the Niners. That was like my determining factor.
and to me, if you're when you're able to focus on Tyreek Hill because there's no Jalen Waddle on the other side, Tyreek Hill's never been a guy who just beats double coverage.
Not this year, but I've seen
he's always been a guy who. From my perspective, Tyreek Hill is the guy that like you get open on little crossing routes. You find him in weak spots of the zone, and when he doesn't have somebody directly on top of him as he catches the football, most dangerous man in the game still. Like you can still kind of almost expect him to house it when he gets the football and doesn't have someone right on top of him. That being said, he's not a guy who creates a ton of separation out of man coverage. Like he will beat you deep.
For sure.
But he's not going to cross you up and, be wide open on the sideline on like an out. That's never been his game. Yeah, he's not a toe drag swag guy. That's never been his game.
He's more middle of the field guy.
Yeah, he's athletic, so he can go up and get footballs, but he's not Antonio Brown. Like Antonio Brown was still somebody you looked at as like an alpha 50-50 guy, and that's not Tyreek Hill's game. So that's all I'm saying. I don't think he's going to have a lot of space today. I'm not excited about playing him anywhere. Right. Like full PPR, I would still play him, but you're talking about like a game where he could have 7 catches for 40 yards, and that just doesn't really help a lot of people.
Well, they'll definitely lose if that happens. All right, what do we got next?
Next up is Jacksonville versus the Raiders. Jacksonville's plus 2.5, over under is 41.5, plus 110 if you're betting on the Jags, minus 130 if you're betting on the Raiders.
Hey, these teams are. This is the toilet bowl. These teams are in the running for the number 1 overall pick. This is the Shadur Sanders game right here. The loser gets Shadur Sanders, and the winner gets Travis Hunter.
That's funny.
Travis Hunter's going to be good.
No, I guess I'll take Jacksonville. I don't know.
It's in Vegas.
Two awful teams.
It's in Vegas.
Yeah.
The Raiders are on a longer losing streak than the Bears by like 1 week. Like I kind of feel like they're due to win, but I'm just not sure how they can do it. So I'm not going to pick against Jacksonville today. I like how they've looked with Mac Jones and Brian Thomas getting 15 targets a week. That just feels really good to bet on against the Raiders here. Yay! We finally got there.
All right, this evening, Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus Dallas Cowboys. -4 for the Bucks. Over under is 47.5. -205 if you're betting on the Bucks. Plus 170 if you're betting on the Cowboys.
All right, I'll take the Bucks.
I will take my boys. Apparently, Baker Mayfield has a very Kirk Cousins-like primetime streak going on right now. He's lost 8 consecutive primetime starts. Yes, this is the Sunday night game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's played well though, because like I'm thinking of just this year, and the primetime losses are that overtime loss to the Falcons, which had nothing to do with him, because the Falcons scored to tie the game at the end of the game, then got the football right away and scored a touchdown, so he never got to touch the football. And the same thing happened to him in Kansas City, where he went down and tied the game in Kansas City on Monday night, and Bowles got killed for not going for 2 because Mahomes got the ball first in overtime, and they went down, scored a touchdown, and Baker didn't get to touch the ball.
I don't know how you remember all that, man. What we got next?
Next is the Monday night game, Saints versus Packers, and the Saints are plus 14, over-under is 42, plus 600 if you're betting on the Saints, minus 900 if you're betting on the Packers.
This is another non-pick
Easy
game.
Packers,
you just pick the Packers. They're at home on Monday night against a MASH unit.
Yeah. And then there's Wednesday games, Thursday games, and Saturday games?
We have 3 games left.
We have 3 games left. We won't pick Saturday.
Okay.
That's outside of Ken's range.
Okay.
I'm going to take the Steelers to beat the Chiefs on Christmas.
Me too.
All right. And then after that,
the Steelers losing 3 games in a row in December under Tomlin.
After that is Ravens and Texans. The Ravens are minus 3.5, over.
This is going to be a great game.
That does sound like a fun game.
I'm really disappointed in the loss of Tank Dell. And have you seen the replay of that? Because they won't show the replay.
Right.
And it's not even bad. Okay,
it didn't look that bad.
It's not. But the only thing that I think of when I watch it is, why was that guy falling down? Who is that random guy that just kind of crashed into Tank Dell? His own teammate, who they happened to just activate from the practice squad for the first time all year.
Just
The Chiefs get to him?
no, come on now. Wrong place, wrong time because he's not used to being on the field, man.
Right. Well, sure. That's the plausible deniability that the Chiefs have. I see that. But there's so many sketchy things that happen in Chiefs games that I almost don't want to watch them anymore.
That's funny.
I'm so tired of seeing it because it's not even like it's.
Well, now everybody's looking for
It's
him,
not
you know
that,
what I mean?
but it's not like
But
that.
every football game has those moments. So.
Yeah, sure.
I think they're just exaggerated because
I think
this
it
meme on
feels
the
like there are
Chiefs.
less consecutive weeks where your team just gets calls to going in their favor. Like did you see the fumble return for a touchdown from the Texans? Did you see the replay?
No.
They not only did they say that Patrick Mahomes was in the throwing motion, he lost control of the ball before he started moving his hand forward. His hand goes back cocks it back. It starts to slip out of his hand, and then he just kind of like throws nothing forward. His hand, like by the time his hand completes the motion, it's completely devoid of a football.
I did see that play, and I remember.
So not only did they say that it was.
I thought they got that one right.
No, they got that wrong.
and
That's wrong.
it looked right to me.
I'm going to keep. So the league will make announcements on all of that stuff after all the games are played. That's one I'm going to watch.
Yeah, and put it in the chat if that's the
I will.
case.
I will because
I'm curious.
to me that was a fumble. That was because
To me, I thought that was a pass,
if
so.
anything, you call that the tuck rule. Like if anything, not like it wasn't a forward pass. He fumbled the football. Like that was the only thing you could possibly say was that he fumbled the football because he was trying to bring it back down. But that wasn't a pass. And
So is that the hat bet?
not only, huh?
Is that the hat bet this week?
What?
Whether or not it was a
No, that's terrible.
it was a fumble.
That's
Come
terrible.
on.
I mean, I could see why you don't want to bet on DFS.
I know my DFS looks good. Actually, all our DFS look very similar. We don't have a lot of differences.
The scores look very different over the last month.
Oh yeah, the last few weeks I have not been like the last 3 weeks of football have
For
been
me,
very bad.
from what
for
I
me
see,
all the way around.
I've won 7 out of 9.
Yeah, Ken took over. Ken took over.
What's the point scoring difference now?
1889 for me, 2042 for you, and Brian has 1941.
So it's
Your average went up to 136.
so it's growing.
Yeah, you've had 2-3 good weeks in a row, like really good weeks. But
So yeah, I'm not going to take the Texans in this game. I
me neither.
them losing Tank Dell is just
After
like,
all that.
it's just demoralizing. Well, that's what I was trying to talk about was that the Texans lost Tank Dell, and that just like that was like it's you watch the Chiefs get calls and stuff like that, but to see them get lucky in ways like that is super frustrating to see. It is, and the Texans lost like a starting offensive lineman who's like a Pro Bowl level offensive lineman in the game, and lost Tank Dell as Tank Dell was making maybe his best play of the season, and it sucks. It just sucks to watch. And then who's our last game?
Do we have any other?
Seahawks and Chicago Bears.
Thursday night game of the season.
Yeah, Seahawks are -1.5. Over-under is 40.5. Money line's -122, and the Bears are +102. I could see a world where Seahawks get devastated.
This is the game the Bears will win.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like I could see a world where Seahawks get devastated today. Not enough time to morally recover by Thursday.
Or Gino gets banged up, like Gino re-aggravates his injury, and then they just don't play him on Thursday. But yeah, like I said, the Bears feel like they're coming due on a win. The Lions have too much to lose to them today. I just don't see that happening. Like if the Lions aren't just doing what they want to do early in the game, I feel like Ben Johnson is smart enough to make adjustments, and they're desperate enough to win that they will make those adjustments and win. But the Seahawks could just be out of it come Thursday.
Yeah,
Which is crazy.
Crazy
because
I'm gonna go ahead and take Seattle on that one. It's very, very close.
They were like the Seahawks were rolling and looked like they had the division under control 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And they've lost, and the Rams have won. They've lost twice, and the Rams have won twice since then. So, it feels like that's just going to continue though. It feels like they're going in opposite directions.
So, and you're going with as your final decision?
I'm gonna pick the Bears.
All right.
I will pick the Bears in this game.
Me too.
All right, and that's all our picks.
Who's it? We got lone wolves. I know I got one.
You got Tennessee.
Yeah, that feels good. Betting on Rudolph on Christmas as my lone wolf. Woo!
I got KC. I feel like I got one other one in there too. Maybe not.
Yeah, I don't think I had any.
No, I don't see any lone wolves for you, Brian.
Yeah.
Either of you.
No, I got KC.
Has he got one?
I got KC on Wednesday.
Oh, that's a good one.
And where did Bezzy get?
You got
his?
KC. Oh, remember that's KC and the
Bezzy
refs.
picked the Browns for
can we
some
can we put KC and the refs now? Like instead of,
Plus, right?
and put it
KC.
instead of KC Chiefs, it should say KC and the refs.
KC Zebras.
Funny.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Happy football. I gotta get moving. I got a ton to do today, but I'm glad we were able to get together. Merry Christmas, gentlemen.
It gets like that during the holidays, right?
Oh,
like,
dude, every year.
Everybody's.
It's just good
schedule
that
gets-
like we're still. I mean, we're 16-0 now.
Yeah, no,
Yep.
like I say, I shouldn't be here today, but I wanted to make sure that we kept our streak going. So,
It feels good.
yeah.
One question coming in:
nice.
Jono Smith or Kittle?
Kittle is that was something I didn't talk about in that matchup. Is
All
that
right, I'm gonna let you explain.
Kittle
See you guys.
has become the wide receiver one in San Francisco. When they need a big play, like Juwan Jennings is moving the sticks, but when they want a chunk play, they're going to Kittle. Even when it's deep, the deep routes are being run through Kittle now. So to me, I expect the 49ers to win this game. If you expect them to play well, you got to start Kittle. Jonnu Smith has been good in PPR, and like we've been lucky a couple of times. Like he scored all of his points on that overtime drive against the Jets a couple weeks ago, and today I just I would not want Jonnu Smith.
Okay, well there you have it. Guess we'll go ahead and call it a night or a day, and you guys have
You
good
can
luck
call
on
it a
your
night if you
football.
want to.
Hey, no, right? Go back to bed. You guys have good luck on your football season today, and these Wednesday games are kind of
Stay in there.
interesting.
Let's win.
Do you have any thoughts
let's
on the
move
Wednesday games?
Christmas games?
That's why, because it's on Christmas. Okay, got it.
Yeah, that's why
Now
it's-
that makes sense.
Yeah, it's just because it's on Christmas,
Yeah.
and it's a doubleheader, right? Yeah. It's a Netflix thing. That's another thing is that
Oh yeah, that's right.
these are the games that are on Netflix. Netflix promises that they will handle this better than the Tyson Tyson Paul fight.
I think that Tyson Paul fight might have been their
Listen.
their practice for live streaming.
While we're still doing this, I would love to fight that guy.
Paul?
Yes,
Why?
because unless I was being paid like Tyson to throw the fight, I expect to win. I don't think he can fight. Have you watched him fight?
Which one? Paul?
Paul.
Yeah, sure. I've watched a few of his fights.
I
It's
just don't-
probably the only boxing I still watch, to be honest.
And it's funny because it feels like it's created entertainment. Like we're only watching him box because he was famous before he was a boxer. It's not because he's just this phenom, like for instance, like the Mike Tyson story, where he just came out of nowhere and he's destroying people and running through all of the main contenders and stuff like that. He's not doing that. He's picking and choosing these fights that he can win. And it's like, and he also benefits from the fact that if you are a good fighter right now, if you're a talented fighter, you're going to the UFC. You're not trying to deal with boxing promoters Canelo. Canelo is like the best fighter of the generation right now, and he gets screwed all the time by his promoters. And there's this big beef between him and Oscar De La Hoya about De La Hoya taking money from him and squeezing him out of deals and stuff like that. And so people don't want to deal with that. They rather just deal with Dana White.
There you go.
So boxing's not in a good spot right now, and that because the guy who's making all the money can't fight. You can't fight. I just don't like. I got frustrated watching that Tyson fight because I'm like, hit him, go, just go get him. He can't fight. He's not he's just throw a combination. Like Tyson didn't throw a single combination. It didn't feel like in that fight. And I know I don't want to hear like he's 60 years old. I watched a lot of his little training videos.
Yeah.
I
me
know he is still a much more dangerous man than what we saw on Netflix.
I was watching it and I was like, where was all that where's the training? This training session just went out the window. What's going on
Did you
here?
give him a sedative before he went out there? Like,
that's probably the most likely scenario. Somebody slipped him something.
Somebody slipped him something because otherwise, Mike Tyson's one of those dudes that he's unpredictable too. Like, you could have a deal set up and he'll go out there and just like, nah, I'm gonna whoop this guy's ass. So anyway, that just my thoughts on that situation is like, I would like to see a good fighter fight against Logan Paul and just whoop his ass. I would just love to see that because I feel like I just not seen that happen yet.
Yep.
Where the Klitschko's.
All right,
Guys,
everybody.
Merry Christmas. Thank you.
See you guys